Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the show. And if myself and Sharon look strangely similar to part one, that's because we've not moved at all and neither one of us has done a hair. But we still look smashing. Mate, you move your hair. What the...
I look great. I always look great.
Mate, that's a good move as well. Nobody saw it. Don't tell no one. So, part number 2 of Deep Inside with Sharon Remez. It's a fat lad Neil Pickup in the mother fluffing house, and welcome to the Supernatural channel. If this is your first visit to us, guys, make sure you check out part 1, because I learned from this guy in part 1 some really interesting stuff. Not only did I learn about a guy who started the Special Forces in the UK and in Israel, which I had no idea about, I also found out that Over the Top was made by 2 Israelis. How's that for a badge to pin on your coat if you're an Israeli? Never knew that. Who were the guys again, Sharon?
Menachem Golan, which was the director also, and Yoram Globes.
Unbelievable. I have a mind of information after speaking to this bloke. Ladies and gents, if this is your first introduction to Sharon Remez, my guest today on the show, this is a living legend of the sport of arm wrestling, a multiple, and I mean multiple world champion across decades. One interesting stat that we were talking about just a moment ago is that Sharon may be the only arm wrestler to have won world titles in 3 decades, the 80s, the 90s and the noughties. And we think that's the case, isn't it, mate? So I
think the one who has the answer is Engin. Engin, he knows everything about everything, and he probably knows. Yeah, everything.
You need to know about Area 51. Are the aliens real?
Ask Engin. Conspiracies, ask Engin.
Not a problem. What happened to Princess Diana? Engin. Right. Let's get this rolling again, mate. So, where the hell had we got up to? Should have watched part 1 myself before we got on. No, joking aside, we were talking about the lack of training that you had, or the fact that you didn't train. From sort of 1991 Houston World Championship win, 92 Geneva, Switzerland, WF World Championship dominance, absolute dominance, to pretty much the present day.
To 2006 in Manchester, and to 2006 in Hungary, the Europeans. Mm-hmm. From that time, about 14 years now, I didn't do anything. I didn't
train at all. No. And when you arm wrestled, with what frequency? When you just arm wrestled?
You mean like in a club? Maybe.
Yeah.
I went once a year. You know, I met somebody who says, "Oh, come to the club. We are training." So I went there. Maybe once a year, maybe twice a year.
Okay. What the f*** is wrong with you? I mean, why would you do that?
Yeah, you mean what? Okay.
When you've won the world championships in something and dominated in the way you did, you got to tell me, mate, what happened? What was the distraction? I mean,
I came to Sweden. That's what happened. I had a baby. You know, in Israel, everything is like speed. You come to Sweden, volume. Everything goes slowly. I don't know who my neighbor is. Still, I don't know. I've been here for years. I don't know who he is. I don't know his name. You know, then you have a child, and, you know, you have different priorities.
Mm.
But if arm wrestling was a job, which I think it is for some people now.
Yeah, there's a few guys out there that are... Yeah.
There's a few guys out there. I think that, why not? I would have stayed. I would continue, but it was different times.
Well, all I'm going to say is this, mate. That
I see now clips on YouTube of arm wrestling that have almost 2 million views.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. My God, yeah. I mean, Alex Bazaikov's YouTube channel, Armwrestling TV, little plug. I think it's got like over 500,000 subs. I'm pretty sure that Devon now, I know Devon's obviously had boosts by a lot of the social media stuff he's done and the collabs and so on, but I haven't looked for a long while, but I think he's like over 210 subs again. He's like a lot of subs, you know, 210, 220, somewhere around there.
And how many of them are arm wrestlers?
God, how many can be?
Not many.
No.
But it's creating a lot of interest in the sport, because I read comments. 80% of the comments is not arm wrestlers. It's people who are interested to see a combat kind of strength sport, which is becoming very, very popular now.
I think I do weed out some hardcore fans on this channel. We have comments on that, and we'll go, you'll probably get feedback on what percentage of people out there just from the comments, or they'll say something in the comment like, I'm new to arm wrestling, or this is my first experience of arm wrestling, and you do see that a great deal. But I'll tell you what it is, mate. You might be, 175 years old, but unless you use a very, very natural looking and very good quality hair dye, you do not look to me like you've taken much physical wear and tear. You look like the pace of life in Sweden is good to you.
It's good to me because it's like being put in a refrigerator. Meat, you put in, it lasts longer.
I never thought about it like that, mate. But that is true.
I was in a class, in a school meeting reunion.
Okay.
Everybody, I say, oh my God, who are these people?
Happened to you. Yeah, you go there and they all look like death on a stick, and you're...
Yeah, exactly. I said I was preserved in Sweden. I came back in time, and now I'm here again.
You were there winking at the daughter, like... Still got it. Joking aside, though, mate, have you ever had any injuries from arm wrestling?
None.
Really? No injuries? Wow.
No.
What was your longest match, Sharon?
Maybe with Edmir Furuko, I think it was 1.5 minutes, or maybe 2 minutes. Because
you never really you were never the type of guy that got slowed down or embroiled in. I don't remember, if I think back to all the career that I saw you have, it was always pretty, almost like boring matches in some instances. You just killed
if the motion started, it was very hard to stop.
Very smooth.
If it went to my side, it was, very hard to stop it.
Yeah. Who did you respect most in your early career? Who were the guys that you have been influenced by or have most respect for on the table or in the sport?
That is very strange because I didn't know any of the guys. I didn't know the big names. I didn't know who they are. When I came to Greece and I heard people on the bus, talking about John Brzezinski. I didn't know who that was. And people talking about Cobra is here. Who's Cobra? You're thinking it was kind of a huge person, or then it's that guy there. I was like, oh, that skinny guy. That's Cobra. And so I didn't know who to look up to. I didn't have any role models to look up to because I didn't know anybody. I just started knowing people, after a year or two. And the ones that I met, I beat. I didn't get a chance to arm wrestle, people like Tim Bresnan and, you have to be in the United States, like Engin, he wanted to be the best. He went to America.
Yeah, sure.
And, at that time, the most feared people were the Georgians.
Yes.
And the Georgians who most feared was me. Because every time I went to a competition, they used to come to me before. They were always in the same group with the guy with the beard. And they said, go on what weight class he's in. And I said that I'm 90, so they went up to 100, or they changed classes, And the Georgians were the people to beat.
Yeah, and at that time you had the likes of David Shadadze, Irakli Gurkiani, Vetkia Samkaradze.
Erkele Gurkiani was with me in Switzerland, in Geneva.
Yeah. Second place, wasn't he?
Yeah, so, yeah.
In his hat.
Yeah, he always had. And in Israel, I also had a match with Zao. Zao is big.
Yeah, the Georgian giant.
He's a huge guy. Big hand. But at that time, I had no problems with these guys.
No.
It didn't feel, people say who is stronger, who is, they felt all the same to me. Because when it goes, if I let them, go into their power and get connected and everything, maybe it would be different. But everybody felt the same.
Yeah, because you were disabling people.
Yeah, it was so easy, just little back, roll down. It didn't matter who it was.
And I think you hit the nail on the head earlier on, and it's something I've talked about a great deal because over your career, well, actually, let's wind the clock back a little bit first, because I don't want to I'm very keen to not get ahead of ourselves in this respect. And we haven't talked about your experience at the Golden Bear yet. Because you won the Gold Bear as well, didn't you?
I have
You had experience with the Russians. Now, I was told I wasn't aware that you'd been to the Golden Bear, and then I got
I wasn't aware also because I haven't been there.
Really? I am missing.
You are talking about Golden Arm?
No, the Golden Arm, Sweden. I'm talking about the Golden Bear in Russia. I had some PMs from people before I came on the show. And one of the PMs says, can you ask Sharon about his win at the Golden Bear? And I said, Sharon was at the Golden Bear? Really? Yeah. And this guy tells me the history. I had no idea. So,
I had no idea.
Either. To the guy who sent me the PM, who I'm going to open in a moment.
And what year was that?
I'll tell you right now. Okay, to Marcus, can you see there?
Yep.
Is 91, apparently.
Wow.
And Marcus, say no to drugs, motherfucker. So you did that. I'm actually pleased because I didn't know that, and I've known you for a lot of years, and I wasn't aware.
It's not true, and it could have been true because 91 was a good year for me.
He mentions the Yukon Jack, and I said, yeah, I know about the Yukon Jack. I didn't know the detail, but I knew that you'd been over to the Yukon Jack. And he said, and also the little-known experience at the Gold Bear. And I thought, well, I didn't know about that. So it's very little known, not even by the man himself. So, moving forward, after 1992, Geneva, just picking up on show one, what I was saying there, you sort of, we know why, obviously, your experience, you've got a young child and so on and so on and so on, but we didn't really see you again till 2006 Virginia Beach, unless I'm missing something big in between that. No, I'm not talking about domestically, I'm talking about...
96, not 2006, 96.
96 Virginia Beach, yeah. So we go out there and straight away I came over and said, bloody hell, mate, where have you been? And we were talking there, myself and my sister chatting to you beforehand. And one thing I picked up on straight away is I wasn't talking to the same guy that I was speaking to in Geneva 92. You were withdrawn. Almost.
I was weighing 85 kilos also.
And you weren't confident, mate. You were.
Of course, I came after 4 years, I didn't do anything for 4 years. I just, was like, pushed, convinced to go from Israel. I represented Israel. They said they will pay for me to go because we need the medal.
And
so I went.
At the start of the first episode that people don't know, but you've got some stage fright.
No. If you look at all my matches, you see that I'm chewing gum. Mm-hmm. I'm not chewing gum. It looks like I'm chewing gum, but I'm not chewing gum.
And at that show, you were struggling. Because I know you were refereeing that day as well. You were doing some refereeing. And I know that...
No, I was not. That was in Sweden in 94. I was refereeing. In Virginia Beach, I was not refereeing.
Absolutely sure you didn't have your referee shirt on, Sonny Jim?
No, I didn't. And I was not in Golden Bear also.
Yeah, the Golden Bear thing, I'm actually glad you put that myth to rest. But 96, Virginia Beach...
Absolutely.
And you pulled in 100 kilogram class and you were pulling with David Shadadza. Yeah. And I know that the first time you pulled him, he beat you quite comfortably. and you did nothing. You didn't react. You didn't start. You didn't really move or anything. I think also you took a loss that year to Kenny Flynn of the US. I think it was Flynn. Can you remember your second loss? But again, you ended up in third place.
I beat that KD something. Maybe it was.
That's who it was. It was Mitch Cady.
Yeah, Mitch Cady.
Mitch Cady, and I'm not.
I beat him easily the first match. Yeah.
Were you super nervous that day? Is what I'm coming around to here, mate? Because you looked it.
Well, I was nervous. I was, undernourished. I was 85 kilos. I competed in 100 because there was other guys from Israel competing in my weight classes. And
competed at the national that year, or did you not get the sort of choice on? Because if I'm the national coach,
I was not in the nationals in Israel. They just sent me there.
But if they were looking for a medal, and I knew I had you in my team, I'd have been putting you where I could put you, to be perfect. Wherever your optimum weight was, because you've two guys, you can use two pullers at the World Art. For those who don't know, you have two options. Why the hell did they not prioritise you? So put you in your optimum weight grouping. Did they not have confidence in you themselves because you were living in Sweden?
Well, I don't think that they didn't have confidence. They had confidence. That's why they needed a medal, and they sent me there, because, they said, no, it was like that. Give us a medal, we will pay for the trip.
Okay. Yeah. Because I never forgot that experience with you in Virginia Beach, because I was shocked, actually. Surely there's a thunderstorm.
Well, it's not such a bad result, No. Well, I really, I was never in any competition less than third.
Mm-hmm. But you weren't the same guy that you were in
no.
Men. And I'm not talking about physically. I don't know what you could do physically. Can you hear that? You hear the storm outside here? What the serious biblical storm going on in Great Britain. But yeah, your mental attitude throughout that event, the difference in your persona, demeanour, attitude at the table was like massive. It was like night and day. And then once that tournament was done in Virginia Beach, I can't remember when I saw you next. It was a long time after, years after.
I think it was, it was one, I think, 98 in Golden Arm in Sweden. I was there in the final with Johan Lindholm and what is the guy from Estland? I don't know what his name. Bald guy who 75 kilo, very famous guy. I forgot his name now. It doesn't matter. But I trained, went to the club a little, and I went to the Golden Arm, and I won there, and I went to the Powerball in Finland, and I won there also. And then I went home for a few years.
So
many years.
Between the 96 and then you coming back and doing a couple of events there, was it the same thing? You were just distracted? Or did you take the loss in Virginia Beach quite badly? Was that something that sort of pissed you off, or?
No, well, of course you don't want to come third, you want to win. And the guys there thought that I'm going to win. Mm-hmm. No, I didn't take it so bad. But, it probably did have some effect, but it's not the reason.
But it was demotivational. So you didn't really, because it's a shame. It's like at that period of time, it's like you robbed yourself of your own possibly peak career. Because 1992, we don't really see you again until 1996. You come out for one event and we don't see you for another 2 years. Mm-hmm. I mean, wow. And let's just put no finer point on this, okay? Most humans, most people, they go to the World Championships, if they medal, they'd be pretty pleased. They'd be like, holy shit, I medalled. with you, it was such a significant factor that we didn't really see you again. You were off the radar, effectively, for so long. And we missed those peak years when you would have been killing people. Just absolutely running people over.
I was not so motivated to go to Virginia, to Virginia Beach. I was not. I was almost, like forced to go there. Mm. So I did. Yeah, I did my best, and I got a medal, and that's that.
And during that period of time, you were training maybe once a year on the table, arm wrestling once a year.
Yeah. I have a very high low level.
Yeah, so when you were wrestling...
My lowest level at that time was 3rd in the world.
Right, here's another question then. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about the experience in Sweden, okay? Or over there. To sort of get a barometer on where this wrestling lower level is at. How many guys in Sweden, when you hadn't been training and you just rocked up at a club once a year, could beat you?
In a club, the training?
Yeah.
No, nobody.
Jesus Christ.
But then we did a super match with Johan Lidholm.
Yeah, who was really strong then.
He was really strong then, and he won that super match. Mm-hmm. But a few months later, there was the Swedish National. So I went to his weight class, which was 100 kilo, and I beat him there in the nationals. So I went to the club and trained a little, and I just need to get my arm back, to the memory back, and I won that.
And when you say trained a little, what's a little?
I don't know, maybe 5 times. Go to the club for 1 hour, just to get the feeling back. Which is true, Last year I went to Israel. Mm-hmm. And the guys, I checked in on Facebook when I came in, which was almost a big mistake because they knew that I'm in Israel. Yep. And they invited me to, from Balfour 60, they invited me to their club, and they made an interview. They gave me a shirt, and everybody came there to meet me. And then they all wanted to arm wrestle me, and I didn't arm wrestle for years. And everybody there felt strong. Mm-hmm. It's such a long time, I didn't have the endurance. Absolutely. I do it maybe once, twice, 3 times, and then like that.
Yeah.
And then I went back to Sweden. I said, I'm going to start to train. Since then I'm training. And after 3 months later, I came back to Israel, and I went to the clubs again, and I didn't feel them anymore. It was completely different.
I bet they were shocked.
They were shocked, yes.
Mm. And what is the level like in Israel now when you go back? Or there's
I want to say that the level now in Israel is, Devon was there just a few months ago before the virus, and the level there is they have all the machines. They train like everybody in Europe trains. All the how the Russian trains. They have all the equipment. They are doing the right things. They have Balfour 60 is organizing a lot of competitions on the beach. And it's really, really, really picking up. There's a lot of small clubs.
That's great.
And there's guys there. I can mention names maybe for their school. There's a guy called Jody there, and Adam, and many Shlomi. We would like to hear his name on your Shlomi the Bulldog. He would like to hear. Mm-hmm. And they are training really hard, and they are very good and very technical.
Interesting.
They are very technical. So it's going to be a new era, a new time for the Israeli arm wrestling. Because
that's great.
At my time, it was a good time because of a lot of arm wrestling. And then it just died when they changed ownership of the federation, There was a guy called Shai Ben Shahar, he took over and things changed. But the guys in Israel are really training hard. I'm on their WhatsApp group and they are training really hard. They're going to be something to watch for.
So you got some rising stars coming out of Israel shortly.
There is rising stars.
Interesting.
So next time I have a chance when there are flights again to go to Israel, I will go and check all these guys and see where they stand.
Fantastic. That's good. It's nice to hear, actually. The emerging talent coming from these different countries. But I don't want to deviate too far from what we came here to talk about, and that's you, Mr. Remez. So, first of all, the list. Okay, take a glance down at that list. Now, up to our sort of date time, is there anything on that list that you want to cover off, that you wanted to talk about that we haven't touched upon, mate? Because I know you'd sit there and say nothing, and I don't want that to happen. If there's things you want to touch on.
No, not really. I want to say, well, who are really the guys, the top names that I beat in my career?
Yeah.
I was thinking, why do I have this reputation? Why did I earn this name? For what? Because did I beat the best guys that are to beat at that time? I'm asking you. Why?
Okay. Why, in my opinion, was because of the short period of time that you were involved in the sport. You were extraordinarily dominant. Almost the way that you arm wrestle is, I'm going to say, like dismissive, nonchalant. Just, so much dismissive. I mean, I'm going to say one thing. 2006 Manchester, okay, when I really wanted to win badly. I still maintain, and I still think the video shows, that when we pulled that day, I smacked you. And why I think I did that, you remember the controversy? And Gary Roberts from on TV was going, that was a fucking pin. And I know why. It's because we'd pulled, I don't know how many times, but I know that you were nonchalant. You were...
I will tell you...
Always.
I will tell you, I remember that very, very... I remember that.
You went like this.
And I tell you that it's your fault, and I tell you why. Because I thought, when I met you and we were walking to the table, you were going like this. Okay, And I thought you were going to give it away.
Really?
Yes, because we came there and you said, you went like that. So I said, okay, so you're going to give it away? And then you just hit me.
Yeah, I wasn't going to give shit. I wanted to win there. I had my last arm surgery on the elbow rebuild about 11 months before. And that was the last time I trained, and I was running the event and so on. That was the last time I trained really hard to try and get somewhere. And that first pin, what I did respect about you afterwards when we spoke that night and you went, I probably got away with one there, but you win some, you lose some, which is true. But, it happens. But what I thought of is you were dismissive, nonchalant, like everybody and I'm not talking about just that match. I'm talking about everybody, all day. You lost to an Uzbek in the final, who we later found out, also I lost to the same guy. We later found out he was juiced up and got banned.
Yeah.
But had you been switched on in the final,
you
might have won. But you were fucking...
Okay, let me ask you first. After that sleep with you, what happened when they did they tie us up in the straps? What did they do?
No, they didn't give me the win, and I got a second foul. Well, you can see it on.
Okay.
Because I was edgy on the second start. I was edgy because I knew same suit warmed over wasn't work with you. I went to try and jump the hook, and I fouled. I fouled out.
Okay, that's how it was.
So that's on me.
And in the final, with the guy from was it Kazakhstan?
I think it was either Uzbekistan or I think it was Uzbekistan. But,
Uzbekistan. You as a spokesman, commentator, you tried to give me a tip while you were commentating.
Okay. I can't remember this.
You do that sometimes because you commentate and you say, okay, now he will probably, if he will pull back, little back pressure, maybe we'll see something different. And you're like guiding people sometimes. I think it sounds like you're guiding people. And you told me the second time after you beat me the first time, you say, now if he will just, use a little more back pressure, we will see a different match. We are commentating. It's like I knew what I had to do, but he was so fast,
Yeah, he was quick. To be fair, the kid was really fast.
He broke a hand for some guy there also.
Yeah, he was really, and we know obviously the nuances of why as well, but he was extremely fast. But I still maintain that you had the ability to win that match.
Yeah.
But I think in those later stages in your career, I'm going to tell you, from what I felt at the table with you, I don't think you were focused. I think you were always...
I was not trained, it's different when you're trained. I'm just not trained.
But did you want to win?
Of course.
Badly? Because you didn't seem like it, mate. You didn't seem like those early stages in your career when you used to get up there and grip you and it was like, holy shit. You used to shut everything down. It went dark. And later on, it didn't. It was sort of like I don't know.
It's not the same person.
Bothered. You weren't bothered. I don't know. I don't know what the way... And I'm not trying to be... trying to criticize you there. It just seemed like but you weren't bothered. You weren't really motivated, which is
maybe true. Maybe I was not motivated.
But
it can be that. Yeah.
Where I want to go to before this series ends, I cannot go. Why now? Why now?
I started. It's from the guys from Israel. That, you go back to the origin, where everything started, you see all Nir Harel and all this guy and you get, it's like you smell food that reminds you of your grandmother's cooking.
Okay.
And, I started to train and I feel I have feedback. So, oh my God, I'm getting strong. People, think that, I have a chance. This is, I think there's, right now there's 2 people in Sweden, maybe 3, that I really in a few months want to test, like Tobias Spoong. He's a great guy from Sweden.
Yeah, really exciting talent. Really exciting.
A guy called Virus I don't know, he's after.
Yeah, Anthalos. He's really, really strong, particularly left-handed, unfortunately, but yeah.
And that guys I want to try and then see where I am. And, of course I will compete in the Swedish Nationals. Otherwise I can compete in Masters and Grandmasters, but I'm going to compete in Seniors.
Because you want to know?
I want to know. Because
Where is your level now?
I think I'm strong as I used to be.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
But in a hook I'm better, with straps I'm better, but I don't have that explosivity.
But do you give a shit now? Do you want to win?
Yeah, I want.
You really want to win?
I really want to win. And I get so much support from the guys, they're coming to pick me up and take me and bring me back. And I think I can really do that, I don't feel the age, like you said, oh my God, I don't look 60, but
no,
but I feel like, I don't know, in my 30s, 40s, I feel really strong. I have no injuries, nothing hurts, I train and, it does something, I'm getting better, I'm getting stronger. I didn't touch weight yet.
But how long have you been arm wrestling now?
Year.
So 1 solid year, and you've been arm wrestling with frequency.
Yeah, 3 times a week.
That's a lot, mate.
That's a lot, 2 hours at a time, and the guys, they are holding, they have straps and they're pulling and, all kinds of, positions, and I'm, really, really strong. And my endurance is better.
So what's the aspiration, Sharon? Right now, where's the end game? Because it ain't the Swedish Nationals.
I have to place in the Swedish National. I have to show that I'm active.
Yeah, so the Swedish Nationals is the stepping stone. It's the signal flare. It's the I'm back moment.
I have to show that I'm active, and I want, when they see that I'm active and I win something, maybe I will be invited somewhere.
Mm-hmm. And where would that somewhere be next step?
I don't know. I don't know what's going on. There is WAL. There is, what's the difference between PAL? I don't know what PAL is really.
Just different promotion, but with the World Armwrestling League, that's centralized in North America. The PAL is outside of North America, tends to be more Eastern European focus. And obviously you'll be familiar with the top 8. They have
the top 8
format called the top 8.
Anna Mazarenko sent a message. She says that if I will compete and show and, be in a, be top guys, then I will be a name to be reckoned with. Yeah.
Yeah. And I would say the same from a World Arm Wrestling League perspective. Would you be someone who would be on our radar? Yeah, definitely. If you went out there and were anything like the guy that you used to be, and I'm not talking about the 2006 version or the, Virginia Beach version. I'm talking about the guy. Because that, if that is possible, at the age you're at now and with the motivation you have now, maybe the motivation is the biggest factor, actually,
I think I can. There is one more thing before I don't know how much time we have left. How much time do we have left? Do you see there on the counter?
Yeah, don't worry about it. Let's do this thing.
Okay. I want to talk about Ryan Bowen.
You are shitting me. Really? Okay, let's do this. I know this guy.
Ryan Bowen is a great guy. He loves the sport. He lives for the sport. He made a room in his house just for the sport. He went through difficulties lately. He's back in the sport. He has a daughter that is not so healthy, and he's taken care of and all that. I should have had, a few months ago, a super match with Ryan Bowen. Did you know that?
Yes, I did. I do recall seeing that. Where was that going to take place, mate?
In Israel. So now all the guys from Balfour 60 in Israel collected money to bring Ryan Bowen to Israel to see this match.
Okay.
Now, because of, his daughter has to go through surgeries, his daughter, and he couldn't make it. And the prices to Israel were off the charts. And because of the coronavirus, everything went, just didn't happen.
Yep.
But I really wanted that to be a kind of a stepping stone. Although I see him training all the time, I'm following his training. Many people do. I think he's getting better, and he will be better.
Yeah,
he wants to be the best of the best. He's good in straps. That's his main thing, the straps.
Yes.
And I really wanted to have that match with him, but then his mind went to this Lemon guy. I don't know what his guy is.
Brendan Lemon Mulholland.
Yeah. And, so it went off the topic, just died. But I really wanted that. And, we were committed to do that, and it just went away.
And what was that sort of brought about by the fact that he's obviously got a lot of notoriety at the moment on social media? So you thought that if you get that win there, or you perform impressively.
I didn't start that. It was
from the Israelis.
The Israeli guys, they put a poll. What do they think will happen with the match me and him? And of course, it was in Israel, so I won. So the poll, so Ryan put in his pound for pound the poll, and he won there. So it says, okay, you won here. Okay, let's do this. And he said, okay. and but then it didn't happen, and it's a shame. But I still do not think that he could have won. And maybe that will be a motivation for him if I will say to you, I don't think Ryan would have beat me. And especially not now. I'm watching him, I see what he can do, and I still think that he cannot beat me. Even though that he's good at 6 matches, you know.
Yes, got great endurance.
He has great endurance, which I have now also, but I still don't think he can beat me.
Interesting stuff. Very, very interesting stuff, mate. So, Swedish Nationals obviously canned for the time being. What's the situation with that in terms of, are they just going to miss this year, or is it planned down the track?
It looks like it's going to be missed. Anders Axlo, you know Axlo, he is updating all the time. There is no date so far.
Yeah, understandable, mate. Understandable. But that remains your next outing, viable outing. And then
now if people will see this, they know, because nobody knows that I'm training, and not so many people know except the guys here, and they will be surprised.
Yeah, it's very engaging. It's very interesting to see where you can get to, where you are, and where you can get to. And I get bloody hell, I better get 10 messages a week, okay, for the last 2 months. Number one, just saying, have you ever heard of a guy called Sharon Remez? I said, I am familiar with this mother fluffer. And they're like, do you know how strong he is? And I'm like, yes, I am aware of that. So I'm going to ask the same question back. Why, mate? Why do I get messages? Why do you think that you have this aura legend around you? Why is it, in your opinion?
You know, I was very surprised when they crowned me as a legend of the sport, and it began in the Northeast message board, if you remember that. And it was an honor, because maybe, like you said, because I was very dominating. I was very dominating, and I thought that I can be as good as the best of the best, which was John and Gary at that time.
Yeah.
And but at that time, I didn't think I deserved it. Hey, you say, oh my God, I'm doing it for, I just did it for 5-6 years, and I got the status of a legend. And probably I made an impact.
Yeah, it's almost like there's that air of mystery, isn't there? You know what I mean? There's questions that are unanswered there, because you came in, and when you've dipped in and out of the sport, and when you do, you always enter the sport at a pretty high level. Maybe not the highest level, and I do believe that's mostly down to your motivation and real involvement, and there's certainly some of that stacks up. What makes this most interesting for me, Sharon, is the fact that, by your own admission there, you're probably more motivated now than I ever been.
Yeah.
It's both puzzling and fascinating at the same time. It really is. I mean, if you're more motivated, does that counter the natural restriction of the age and the lack of explosivity potentially now? I guess we're about to find out.
I don't know what my age is unless I look at my ID card. I don't feel it. Yeah. I don't feel any difference now than 30 years ago. I mean, physically.
That's a good place to be, mate. Long may that continue.
I don't. So that's why I think I can do it.
So, how good can you get now, do you think? Could we see that level used to be there in in 1992, Geneva? Is that possible?
I think it's possible, because even then in 92 I was not at the best as I can be. After just 1 year of training, it's not possible to be at the best that you can be after 1 year. But I was so, miles from everybody at that time. What would happen if I continue training?
Yeah. Well, if it hasn't got people out there excited to see how good this guy can get, it's certainly got me twitching a bit, mate. I'd love to see you come back, and I'd love to see where you can get to. And I'd love to see these questions answered. It's fascinating. Ryan Bowen, I know, will be aware of this shortly. I'll certainly raise it with Ryan when I speak to him. What about the other guys on the circuit before we let this thing go, mate? Who are the other guys that have sort of piqued your interest? Is there anybody else?
You mean for a super match?
Yeah.
Well,
do you look at the guys from the top 8? Do you look at the guys from the World Armwrestling League and think, I could slap that guy about?
I will tell you something that is maybe you think it's, it's a little out of my league maybe. But
okay.
When I was in Manchester in Arm Wars.
Oh, in Arm Wars, right, okay.
I was in Arm Wars.
Yeah.
I was then backstage, with Devon and, on the Armwrestling Table.
Yeah.
Devon is a guy who even...
I remember this very well. I remember Devon's comments very well.
Devon, I've seen him in Israel, he goes and pulls with everybody on the table. And he lets them do as much as they can, but he never lets them, really pin him.
Yep.
And I was very Devon was not a weak guy at that time. I think a year later he beat John 6-0 there. And year
earlier, I think.
Earlier. And I was very, I think, Devon suits me better than other people. There's difference, why some guys beat a guy and loses to another guy, but the other guy beats that guy that I lost to, is because it's the shape of the hand, the size of the hand, it suits me better. The styles, but, it's different. Devon fits me so well. I like big hands. I like when they hold me as, because you have more surface to pull into. With person have a small hand, it's just on the top, If you have a, bigger surface to pull against, then
yes.
I feel much better when there's a big surface to pull against. And that's why I think that he has his new moves and his, he has his endurance. But I think Devon fits me really, really, really well.
Yeah, very interesting. I remember at the time Devon in the hotel coming over and saying, "Yeah, Sharon's for real, isn't he? One is real." And I said, "Oh yeah, he's serious." He said, he was very serious, Yeah, the words I were looking for at that time. I'm not sure how serious he is right now, but yeah. But this is quite interesting. I'm really glad we had this catch up today because of that. Because it seems like you do have a little bit of a burn going on. You wanna chase it again.
I do. I felt exactly the same. Kind of when I beat Jan Germanus. Jan Germanus was a great he was a name, and after such a long time in Hungary, when I beat him, I felt okay, there's something there. And so that's a strong guy that I beat. And I beat Krasimir in the Europeans here in Sweden, and that made me feel good. Although that he was not at his best then, but I think that I can be as good as I was.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from the horse's mouth. Sharon Remez, Mr. Forearm. The guy with one of the strongest wrists in the history of the sport. And exciting to hear this guy's trying to get back into the sport. And I know a lot of people, including myself, will be really keen to see just how far he can push it. I hope you can make everybody out there, and yourself, most importantly, mate, a promise that this time, give it a crack. Give it a real crack. Don't expect too much of yourself. Try not to put pressure on yourself, and let it go. Give it a crack.
You will see if I'm nervous, if I'm chewing gum that I don't have.
You may get nervous, mate, but nerves is good. Not always a bad thing, and there's definitely no need to have pressure on yourself because you got nothing to prove. You already done it 10 times over. Let it out of the bag this time. Go for it, and let's see what you can do. Ladies and gents, I want to thank my guest, Sharon Remez. Thanks, mate. Been great. Thanks for coming on the show. Really good to catch up. It's been a while as well.
It was great being here.
Smashing. And we'll do it again. Also, for ladies and gents watching, if you've got any questions, anything that you want to put to Sharon, we can...
Comments down here.
Get those comments in here and we'll do another get-together. I'd love to get you on here, maybe with Cobra as well. You know, do a little bit of an old boys reunion. We'll get you on here and we'll have some questions for Sharon. So please keep those questions coming. Let us know what they are. You can also PM Sharon, PM myself, either way, and we'll catch up again and do that. For the time being, ladies and gentlemen, if you do like the show, firstly, if you've not seen episode 1, the link will be in the description to this, so get down there, check it out. If you like what we do, please like, share, subscribe, and until that time, ladies and gentlemen, hope you and your family stay safe and take it easy, peeps.